Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we will be doing a quick camera comparison of two devices around the 20 to 25,000 rupees in India. We have the Poco X5 Pro launched recently, and we also have the Redmi Note 12 Pro which was launched earlier in Jan. So these are two devices which are priced around the 20 to 25,000 price segment. Along with the card offers, you get the Poco X5 Pro for around 21,000 or 22,000, and the Redmi Note 12 Pro also retails in between the 20 to 25,000 price segment. So these are two devices with excellent camera performance. So we'll be doing a quick camera comparison of these two devices to see which performs better and which is the device to choose. Now before getting into the video, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's begin. So first let's have a look at the hardware on these two devices. Now the Poco X5 Pro comes with a 108 megapixel Samsung sensor, f1.9 aperture. You get an 8 megapixel ultrawide, 2 megapixel macro sensor is included, and you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera setup on the Poco X5 Pro. Now coming to the Redmi Note 12 Pro. Now this comes with a Sony IMX766 sensor. It's a 50 megapixel sensor, f1.9 aperture. Then the secondary camera and the third cameras are same compared to the Poco X5 Pro. This is an 8 megapixel and 2 megapixel macro. Even the selfie camera is kind of same on these two devices. Now the differentiating aspect is the ISP. That's we have the Snapdragon 778G on the Poco X5 Pro, while we have the Dimensity 1080 chip on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. So how good the camera experience is on these devices and how they differ based on the chipset, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So let's get started with the camera comparison of these two devices. So let's start with the daylight captures. So let's have a look at the daylight captures. So here you can see that the colors are slightly vivid on the Poco X5 Pro, while it is a bit more natural on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. The Sony sensor makes images pretty much natural, and if you look at the color tones as well, the Poco X5 Pro is a bit more warmer in nature, while the Redmi Note 12 Pro is slightly brighter and cooler in tones. But otherwise the dynamic range seems pretty good on both the devices. In some cases the dynamic range was better on the Redmi, while in some cases it was slightly better on the Poco X5 Pro. So there is no clear winner in terms of dynamic range. Both did a pretty good job. Now if you look at the sharpness levels, once again there isn't much to differentiate between these two devices except for the color tones. Poco X5 Pro exhibits warmer tones, while the Redmi Note 12 Pro exhibits a bit more cooler tone. Now again both these devices pretty good job in terms of daylight captures, and there isn't much to differentiate between them. So these are some of the camera samples taken with the Poco X5 Pro and the Redmi Note 12 Pro in terms of daylight conditions. So do let us know which one do you like, whether you like the richer tones on the Poco X5 Pro or the natural tones on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. Do let us know in the comment section. Let's move on to the ultra wide angle camera. So here you can see that both producers again similar results, but here we would say that the sharpness levels were slightly better on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. Once again the color tones are different on both these devices. The cooler one is the Redmi Note 12 Pro, while the slightly warmer one is the Poco X5 Pro. Now moving on to the close-up images, here you can see that the results are more pronounced. You can see that the colors are much more natural looking on the Redmi Note 12 Pro, while the colors are a bit boosted on the Poco X5 Pro. Again it is more or less relative, because some people do like vivid and vibrant colors, while some people do like natural colors. Once again here you can see that the Redmi Note 12 Pro produces natural colors, while the Poco X5 Pro is slightly more vivid in nature. Once again it's more of a personal choice, but if you want natural looking colors, then definitely the Redmi Note 12 Pro is the device to go with the Sony IMX sensor, which does really well in terms of color reproduction. Now looking at the macros, once again the Redmi Note 12 Pro macro was slightly more sharper, lesser noise included, but Poco did a decent job. Now let's move on to the portraits. Once again here you can see that while the edge detection and the overall quality looks very similar, the colors are something which is differentiating between these two devices. The Poco X5 Pro has slightly richer tones and slightly contrasty portraits, while the Redmi Note 12 Pro colors are a bit more natural, especially the skin tones, and does not have this reddish, slightly reddish tones. So again we would say both did a pretty good job. Edge detection and background blur seems quite good on both the phones. Let's move on to the low light. Here you can see that the Redmi Note 12 Pro produces slightly brighter images and which is lesser noise, and the details are quite good as well. Now again, there isn't much to differentiate between these two devices in terms of low light, but if I were to pick one of these devices, probably I would pick the Redmi Note 12 Pro because of a couple of reasons. One is the Sony IMX sensor does a pretty good job in low light, and second one would be the availability of optical image stabilization, which makes the images better in terms of low light shake, so that makes it even better in terms of overall quality of it. So these are the low light samples, and we feel Redmi Note 12 Pro has advantage. Finally, moving on to the selfies. This is one area we felt that the Poco X5 Pro has a slightly better selfie, especially the tones are slightly better, the sharpness levels are also good. Once again, the colors are slightly vivid on the Poco X5 Pro, but again the selfies are more of a personal choice, so you can judge based on the quality here. The skin tones definitely feel slightly better on the Poco X5 Pro compared to the Redmi Note 12 Pro. But once again, if you want natural looking selfies, then probably Redmi's color algorithm does it better here. So what do you guys think about the selfies on these two devices? Next, let's move on to the video recording. Now both the devices can do 4K 30 FPS, but you can see that there is electronic image stabilization on offer on the Poco X5 Pro because of the Snapdragon 778G chip, while it is only optical image stabilization on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. But you can see that the footage is stabilized better on the Poco X5 Pro. So if you are more into video recording, probably our choice would be the Poco X5 Pro because it offers stabilization across all the format. That means 4K 30, 1080p 60 and 1080p 30, all the formats are stabilized, while on the Redmi Note 12 Pro it is only EIS available for the 1080p at 30 fps. So this is the 1080p 30 fps footage, and you can see here both the devices are stabilized. But if you want 4K and stabilized, then probably Poco X5 Pro is the option to go. So that was the camera sample from the primary camera. Now if you look at the ultra wide angle camera, again nothing much to choose, both offer stabilization, but probably the color reproduction on the Redmi Note 12 Pro was slightly better here. So this is the video recording taken using the Poco X5 Pro. Again the recording has been taken in 1080p resolution with 30 fps, although this device does support 60 fps, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is. So this is the selfie video taken using the Redmi Note 12 Pro with the 1080p resolution. So it does support 1080p at 60 fps also, but this is 1080p at 30 fps, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is. So as you can see from the images we are shown in this video, there is definitely not a clear winner, but probably if you look at the overall aspect, probably the Redmi Note 12 Pro has an advantage in terms of overall camera performance. But if you look at the cost aspect, it is slightly cheaper than the Redmi Note 12 Pro. For that aspect, this is also a great camera. Poco X5 Pro also has a great cameras. Now the 180 megapixel camera does a really good job even without optical image stabilization. The photos have turned pretty good, but on the Redmi Note 12 Pro we have the optical image stabilization, hence the low light experience is definitely better than the Poco X5 Pro. Now Poco X5 Pro is better if you are looking for video recording because you get stabilization across all the format, be it the 4K 30 fps or the ultra wide angle camera. You get stabilization that's not available, or rather EIS is not available across all formats on the Redmi Note 12 Pro. So if you are more into video recording, then probably the Poco is the better choice. And even selfies also, I felt the Poco did slightly better job, but otherwise altogether we would say in terms of photography the Redmi Note 12 Pro did the better job out of these two devices. But having said that, if you are buying any of these devices, you won't be disappointed. Both are really good in terms of camera performance. So that was our camera experience of these two devices, the Poco X5 Pro and the Redmi Note 12 Pro. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do let us know which one do you think is the better choice looking at the camera samples. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.